Rock over London, rock on Chicago, MasterCard. For everything else, there's MasterCard. So alright, okay, something new for today, bringing you massive value as I would say. So what am I going to talk about today is going to be building business credit. So yeah, I think this is a good one, right? Like, this is really important. This is going to bring a lot of value, and this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs that I know and that I've learned about, that have talked about business credit, really wish they would have started earlier. And this is something that you can start at any time after you have your business. You don't even have to be like making an income to start building business credit. So if this sounds interesting to you, you know what to do. Go ahead, like, subscribe, sign up for the mailing list where you're going to get more valuable information, and then it can help you stay in tune to this station. So here we come with the positive regulations, trying to keep it good. So you should know, as it goes, business credit is very important. So business credit is just like building personal credit, only there's a few different rules and laws when it comes down to it. And in my opinion, I would have to say that business credit is much easier to build than personal credit. And once you build up business credit, you will have a lot more credit available to you at a lot lower rates of interest than you will with personal credit. So really, the way the game is rigged is that people that build business credit have a lot more advantages than people that build personal credit. But I mean, at the end of the day, you want to have both good, because it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to start building business credit if you have bad personal credit. Alright, so the first benefit of building business credit is going to be an increased borrowing capacity. So really, I mean, I feel like most businesses at some point find themselves at a stage where they could borrow money and they know basically the range of return they're going to get on that money. So let's say you have an opportunity where, you know, if you had an extra $50,000 for your business, you could really get a quick return on that, say like 20-30%. Well, if you know that you can get business credit for like 5% or 10%, you know, you can look at the rest of it as profit. And basically, by the time you need that credit, the more credit you built up and the better history of business credit you have, the better terms you're going to get, the better rates you're going to get, and the more money you're going to be able to get. Not only that, but you're going to get a lot better terms to pay it back, like more time to pay it back, a lot more leeway. The next aspect I want to talk about, I think, is the most important thing with business credit. So when it comes down to starting or running a business, cash flow is key. Cash flow is king. Cash flow is the most important thing. That being said, so yeah, if you don't have cash flow, your business can just stop, right? So just like in life with business, it's going to be unexpected problems. Just like in personal credit, you would want to have an emergency fund. With business credit, it's not always that necessary. You might, have an emergency fund, but just knowing that you're starting your business credit journey when you start your business before you even make an income, it gives you a big peace of mind knowing like, hey, if a big emergency ever comes up, you can't afford to pay payroll, you can't afford to pay a supplier, you can't afford to buy inventory. There's so many different things that can happen that you're really not going to know about, because business is all about really like making mistakes and learning on the fly, really. So I think, having that business credit will give you not only peace of mind, but it's going to save your business in case any unexpected event comes up. So the next aspect of business credit I want to talk about is going to be how it makes it easier to separate personal finance from business finance. So when I first got into business, this was not something I understood, right? I did a sole proprietor for my first business instead of an LLC. And, I never had any, problems with it or issues from doing this, but I understand now that it's possible I could have. And I understand now that any businesses I build in the future, I want to make sure that from the start, from the very beginning, the business is separate from any kind of personal funds, right? I used to just like get my paychecks and like put it in the bank and then like, you know, take it straight from that account that had all my other, you know, bills, whatever it was, rent. So I would go and take that money and then I would like hire other people with that. I would put all the business expenses with that, and then I would just do all my taxes at the end of the year. And not only did that make it a lot more difficult to do taxes, but it made it a lot more difficult to really keep track of business funds, how much the business was making, how much I was spending, everything like that. So really, you know, there's one aspect of business credit and keeping that separate from personal credit and personal finances, that it just makes it easier to do taxes and makes it easier to know what's going on with the business. But the most important thing that I see with that is really like from a legal standpoint, because over time, you know, if you've got your personal credit mixed with business credit, or even you're taking, you know, income from one business and put it into another business, and you're not really like separating that money and keeping track of what's what, you can get into trouble with, you know, legal issues with the IRS when it comes to paying taxes. There's a lot of business people that have gone out of business because they haven't been able to separate business finances from personal finances, or even finances from one business from finances from another business. So that would be another video if you want to know more about that I can, you know, speak more on not just the finance aspect, but keeping all of separate business activities different from each other, so they're not blending together and there's nothing unclear about what's what. I think business credit is also very crucial when it comes to, you know, growing your business at a quicker rate. Really, I think, you know, if you're first getting into business, it can kind of help to be cautious and maybe, you know, not try to grow too quick. But once you really start to understand business and you have like one successful business and you're ready to start the second or the 10th or the 100th or whatever it is, and you've really got like the formula down, it will benefit you to use business credit to grow your business. So yeah, I mean, if you know what you're doing, you'll know when it's time to grow. You'll know when it's time to really like hit the gas and hit the brakes. And when it's time to hit the gas, having that business credit there, that's really gonna excel you at a much quicker rate if you know what you're doing. So, you know, like any other personal credit, you know, I mean, obviously you still gotta pay it back, right? But it's like knowing when to use it and knowing when not to use it is something that you kind of get better at over time. Another very important aspect of business credit is the credibility that it will give to you and your business. So when you look to do business with other businesses or other suppliers, especially even other financial institutions, banks, you know, banking for your business, they're gonna all look at your business credit. And you know, if your business doesn't have any business credit, people are gonna be more wary of doing business with you. But when you have a solid history of business credit for your business, you could just be starting to get profitable and already have by that time like a good solid history of business credit. So that's gonna really excel your business a lot quicker, because people are gonna want to do business with you. You know, they're not gonna know that you like really just became profitable. They're gonna look and see your business credit and they're gonna see like, okay, well, this person has like, you know, a year or two of good business credit history. So, you know, that I would feel more comfortable about doing business with them because of that. So I think business credit can also save you a lot of money, because I mean, any business has got to work with suppliers. For the most part, suppliers are gonna give you terms based on like how much business they think they're gonna do with you. And if you don't have very good business credit, they're gonna be a lot more cautious about doing business with you. But when you have good business credit, that lets them know that you have the capabilities of, you know, doing more volume mostly over time. And obviously, like the more volume you do with a supplier, the better rates you're gonna get, the better price you're gonna get. So having good business credit is gonna save your business a lot of money in the long run. Also, if you ever plan on selling your business or merging with another business, or if another business is looking to acquire your business, they're all going to be looking at your business credit. So the better history, the more solid business credit you have, and it's just like a rating, just like personal credit, right? Only it's done on Dun and Bradstreet instead of like Experian. You just gotta know which services to sign up for to start building that credit, because it's a lot of different things from personal credit. Alright, so now I talked about the benefits of business credit. I'm going to talk about how to go about building business credit. So the first thing you need to do to build business credit is actually have a business. Alright, you got to go and register your business. I would say most people, if you've never registered a business before, start out with an LLC. Obviously, it's a different, whole different video on how registering your business and creating a business entity is going to protect you from any kind of like financial problems that could come from mixing funds. So yeah, you can't legally create a business credit account with the business credit institutions unless you actually have a business. So yeah, go ahead, get your business started. All you like I said, you don't even have to be making any money. All you got to do is register the business, and most states that's like less than $100 really to go and register a business. There's a lot of online online services that will tell you you need to pay them like $300 for them to register your business for you. But I think that's a waste of money. Always go directly through the state that you would like to register your business in. I think that's the best way to go. So really, as soon as you get your business up, you can start applying for business credit cards. And when you don't have any kind of income or like a history of doing business, your personal credit is going to matter a lot when it comes to getting business credit cards. If you wait a long time and you already establish your business, which I would not recommend before you get a business credit card, but some people maybe they're just finding out about this right now and they've already been doing business. I would say that's fine. Just the sooner you get started, the better. But yeah, it is possible to really just use the business EIN or tax number to get business credit. So all the credit will be based on that, but it takes a lot more of like an established business that can already show that it's creating a lot of income before you can get those kind of deals where you don't have to use your own personal credit as leverage. So next, I would recommend opening trade lines with vendors. I mean, this is going to be different for every industry. You're going to look at a lot of the vendors you want to work with, and there's some vendors out there that do not really like help with building business credit, and there's some that help more than others. So yeah, you can look into, go online, look at whatever your industry is, and just kind of Google what are the suppliers, what are the different vendors that are going to be, profitable or important for your business. And once you see that, you can go and look and even just give these vendors a call and just be like, hey, do you guys have the Dun and Bradstreet? Like, can I register with business credit? Am I building business credit when I do business with you guys? And a lot of people even just work with vendors and trade lines that they really don't even need at the time just to build business credit. So I mean, some people maybe they're gonna spend $100, $200 with a vendor. So it might not be something that they really need at the time, but they realize that $100 or $200 or whatever it is amount that they're spending with that vendor or that trade line is going to provide them with a lot more value as far as building business credit than the cost of that money that they're spending. So I would say it's usually a good rule to try and get like within your first 6 months, try to get built up at least like 3 to 5 different trade lines. And then once you get those, there's like other levels of trade lines you can get from there. And yeah, it's just like a ladder you gotta climb basically. Alright, so another important part about business credit that I kind of mentioned before was, you can get loans with business credit, and really where your business credit is at is going to determine the type of loan you get, the terms, a lot of different things with that loan. Well, I mean, a lot of people, I think they really don't get into starting a business because they don't have the money to start the business. I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, a lot of people are like, like, well, I can't afford to start a business, I got to pay these bills, everything like that. Well, with this, you don't actually need the money if you do it right with business credit, because once you get that business credit built up, you can go and get loans for your business. So you could really start a business with like little to no money, and then when it comes time to where you actually need more money, you can just take out loans. But obviously, I mean, you got to know what you're doing, because if you don't pay that back, it's going to be a lot of interest. And yeah, if you can't afford to pay those loans back, especially at the beginning stages of the business, it's gonna be very bad for you, because it's gonna be very difficult to get any kind of business credit in the future. So yeah, just be real careful with that. I would not recommend that for all people, but I mean, when there's a will, there's a way type thing. Like, if you really want to start this business and you just don't have the money, this is the way to go. I mean, this is the way you can get that money, and all you got to do is just build up a little bit of business credit first. And so just like with personal credit, you can go on Dun & Bradstreet and other services, whatever you're signed up with, to check your business credit score. And you want to make sure you're monitoring that over time, keeping track of where it's at, where you want it to be at, what the different opportunities are available to you when you are at a certain stage. Like, obviously with personal credit, they're not giving out mortgages to people that have a really low personal credit score, or really loans for anything for that matter. So yeah, know what the level is. I think it's like personal credit, something like 740 is really like where it changes to where you get a lot more favorable rates and you can get a lot more loans, everything like that. So yeah, there's definitely different numbers with the business credit, and that's really going to come down to like what you're looking for to do with your business. So yeah, you'll find out over time. Like, once you start building it and you just start paying attention to it, you'll know. Alright, so that's it for today. Hopefully you got some value off of what I had to say. As always, trying to come through with new information with no delay. But sometimes things can be rough and the battle is tough, so I got to keep on the journey and stay focused.